And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Cottage Garden. This is from a new company, but the designer of this game is not new. The designer is Uwe Rosenberg, and this is about making gardens and putting flowers in gardens. But this game uses a mechanism that he has used in a couple of his other games. Essentially think Tetris or trying to put pieces onto a board. He's made a very popular two-player game like this called Patchwork, and a very giant game called Feast for Odin. Both of these use this mechanism. Well, this one has a lot of similarities to those. You're going to have a grid, and you're trying to cover up spaces in that grid with these to score points. It's a pretty quick-moving game. As you take these, fill up a board, erase the board, start filling up another board. Let me show you. In the middle of the table, you're going to put a board. The board has two sides, one for 2 to 3 players and the other for 4 players. And on the outside of the board is a die. And the die is going to basically start in one spot. And on your turn, you're going to be dealing with the row or the column or even the diagonal that the die is in. When the die passes start, it will change to 2 and keep going until it gets to 6, in which it basically starts ending the game. That's the final turns of the game when we get that far. Now what players are doing is they're going to be trying to build up their gardens. Each player has 3 orange cubes and 3 blue cubes. These cubes are going to score. The orange cubes for the number of flower pots in the garden, and the blue cubes for the number of plant covers in a garden. And the blue cubes are 2 points each. The orange ones are 1 point each. However, when you go from 15 to 20, you can see that the last space is 5 and 6 points. And you can move the multiple cubes when you score a field, and so you're going to be adding all your cubes together wherever they may be at the end of the game. Now, how do you fill these cubes? Well, it's pretty simple. On your turn, you're going to look where the die is, and you are either going to take one of the tiles from that row or column or diagonal line, depending on where the die is, or you're going to take a flower pot. There's a pile of flower pots that you can take. So whatever you take, you'll take the tile, and then you'll place it in one of your 2 fields that you have in front of you. So maybe I'll place it like this. Now you can cover up the stuff in your thing. I mean, that's not really what you want to do. However, you want to cover up every space that's not a flower pot and that's not a plant cover, because that's when you'll score it. So as you're moving along, you're going to be placing flower pots and placing different things in the fields so that you can finish it and score points. So let's say at the end of my turn here, I finish this I finish this field. You can see everything is covered. Oh no, that one's not covered up. So each player has 2 cats. Now cats aren't worth any points at all, but you can use them to finish your fields. It's kind of a way to finish a field if you need to. A flower pot would have worked too, but I can place a tile and put a cat out while taking a flower pot would be my whole turn. So I score this field now, and I look at the flower pots. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to move one of my orange cubes 6 spaces, and then plant covers 1, 2, 3. I'll move one of my blue cubes 3 spaces. Now if you move a cube over the red line here on the scoring thing, you're going to get a cat. If you move all your cubes of one color off of the bottom, you also will get a free flower pot that you can stick in one of your fields. Now when you are done scoring this, you will basically empty it. You'll return all the cats and flower pots. Any of the tiles are going to be put at the end of the queue that's over on the side of the board. And then there's always one extra field over here. You'll take the field that you finished scoring, you'll flip it to the other side. They have a light and a dark side. You'll place that here, and then you'll take this one and add it to the fields in front of you. And then it's the next player's turn. So turns are pretty simple. You're going to be taking a tile from here or a flower pot. Now if you, in your row, there are 3 or 4 empty spaces, you will then take tiles from the queue and fill them up in order. And you move the wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow is just to show where the front of the queue is. You'll be adding, whenever you finish fields, you'll be putting more tiles in the queue. Now if there are 2 missing spaces or 1 missing space, you don't fill them up, so your choices are limited. However, you can always spend a cat token to fill them up if you want to, if there are 1 or 2. So this is going to continue on. Players are going to be taking these, and as I said, the die will be going around the board. When the die hits the 6th spot, any field you have that has 2 or less tiles is discarded, and you're only working on the rest. You're basically trying to finish. But each turn, you're going to have to move a cube back 2 spaces. So you want to finish as quickly as you can so that you don't lose points. Once you've finished, you're basically out of the game, and then we keep going, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. I should also mention that there's this parasol piece here. This piece is here. Players can use this at any time to take a tile off, and you can mess with it on your board. When you're placing tiles on your board, you can cover up things that are on your board, but you can't cover up other tiles. You can't stick off the board, obvious stuff like that. So then when I'm done fooling around, I can put it back. So you can basically work ahead on other people's turns, trying to figure out which tiles will fit best. And the board itself, if you look carefully on it, you'll notice there's arrows here, 2, 3, 4. So you know what number player you are. You can kind of look ahead and start looking at what row, because you know where the die is going to be on your turn. As you can see, the 2 to 3 player board is very similar. The difference is it has doesn't have corner spaces. Now I know the theme might not appeal to everyone, but I really did enjoy the different tiles. I liked how they looked. When you're done with a garden, it just looks snappy. I liked how the whole thing came together. It was a good feel to this game in how it looked and filled it up. And the cats, you know, just a funny thing, I thought the joke of having my garden full of dead cats was funny. Apparently not, and probably I'll get negative comments for even mentioning such a thing. But the cats are an interesting dynamic to the game because you're going to start with 2 cats. You can't have more than 2, so you want to spend them. And they can be used to fill up a board or to fill up a row of tiles. And you can get some more as the game goes by, so you have to know the best time to use them. You might as well use them. It's just figuring out the best time. The idea of filling the board up with tiles is a really fun one for people. It's not that thinky. You're just grabbing tiles and sticking them on the board as best you can, and as time goes by, you're going to find that, oh, I need some exact pieces. Oh, I see that piece in the queue. I'll pay a cat to get it out there. Oh, I can't find that piece. Maybe I'll fill this spot with flower pots. Or maybe I just want to fill with flower pots because that gets me more points. Of course, those plant covers are even more points. So which one do I want to go for? When I move cubes, which cubes do I move? And those are good, solid decisions in this game, but the game never becomes an unwieldy, overworked type game. I never sit there and go, oh, so much thinking. No, because you have 2 squares that you're working on. You can try to work on them simultaneously or just fill one up at a time as quickly as you can. And the fact that you have 2 is you're like, oh, I can't find a piece to put on this board. No problem. The piece will fit on my other board. Oh, I don't know what else to do. I can throw a cat in a flower pot out here. Taking the flower pot is nice because it's that one spot fills your board in, but at the same time you're sitting there going, oh, but this one here would have covered up 6 spaces on my board. So the look of the game, there may be a little bit of fiddliness in moving the tiles from the queue, and you're constantly moving the wheelbarrow. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again, it's something that you can do, and the next player is already taking their turn and figuring out what they're going to do. Now, my copy of the game came with some errors on the board and in the rule book, and they gave a sticker sheet, which you had to cut out the stickers to put on, which was a bit of a pain in the neck. I'm sure that will be fixed in the next printing. I gotta say, I really, really like this game. For me, this game kills Patchwork. Patchwork was a fine 2-player game that did something similar to this, but I like this better because I like the option of being able to, well, first I like the theme of this better. Secondly, I like the fact that this goes to 4 players. That's a big deal. Patchwork is fun, but it's a 2-player only game. This one works great as a 2-player game, but also goes higher than that. But I also think that there's just some more, oh, I can put these pieces where I want in this game. I can put flower pots. It just seems to flow a little bit faster than Patchwork did. And there's not this economy of getting buttons, which Patchwork had, which is a fine system, but I don't have to worry about that here. So I really think this could be a hit. I really think a lot of people like this. I really think you could play this game with a lot of people who don't normally play board games, because a lot of people like this puzzly nature putting tiles down. And you can teach this to them, and they will have a lot of fun. So big thumbs up for me on this one. That's Cottage Garden. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff, in stock. Check them out at coolstuffinc.com.
Sting the